Welcome to my channel, Dr. Munshi Nasser Skill Tone. How are you, my dear learners? In this video, we are going to discuss about how we can run a panel data model very simply in RStudio and BlueSky Software. Both the platforms are completely free and very few codes you need to run the panel data model. In this video, we are going to talk about the static panel data model where we first run the panel model in within effect, I mean the fixed effect, and then we will run the panel as a random effect model, and then we will do a Hausman test to decide whether we run a random effect model or fixed effect model, and then we conclude our video. So in this video we are not talking about the dynamic panel model, which I have another video. I will share the link in this video as well, and I have a list of playlist of the how to run and how to work in RStudio, so you can always look in my channel and find out the step-by-step R programming language guideline. So without further delay, let's get started. Welcome to my channel, Dr. Munshi Nasser Skill Tone. In my channel, I try to highlight different skills, the skills that matter for your career. These mostly are data science, machine learning with economics and business, life skills, educational how-to, questions and many more. If you like my effort, do subscribe my channel. So today's topic is, as I told you, it's working with the panel data in R, fixed and random effect model. Before we run any panel model, we need to know what is the panel model or what do we mean by panel data. So if we want to know these things, there is a definition here. The type of data. In the panel, we have a cross-section data collected at a one particular point in time series data collected across several time period, panel data, which is a mix of cross-section and time series data. So it's a mixture of both cross-sectional and time series data, which is collected in a particular point in time across several time periods. For instance, in this particular video, I can take an example from here. You can see here that there are companies which is a cross-section, company A, company B, okay, company B, and then company C. There are three companies, so three cross section. And what is our time period? You can see here that week 1 for company A until the company A is ended here before the B starts, 33 weeks. And then again you start with company B, start from the year 1 or week 1, and then it will ends again at 33. Then again the company C starts with week 1 and then again it will end at week 33. So this is how you will design your panel data. Week by week, panel data will be a chunk of data for company A, company B and company C, just like this way. Now if you can look at the variables, in this video we are using age, gender and other variables, but I have my own example which I can share with you in a while. Here you can see there is a panel data I design, which is called the panel data sample, that I will demonstrate in my video using RStudio and of course the video with the BlueSky statistics. Here in this case says I downloaded the data for Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. There are 4 cross section, 4 countries, and the year I have chosen from 2010 until 2019, 2020. So these are the 10 years for Bangladesh, one chunk. Then India 2010 to 2020, then Maldives 2020 to 2020. So this is how you can design your panel data in an Excel format. What are the variable I have chosen? The variable is economic growth of Bangladesh and all other countries, and then I have chosen inflation rate and I have chosen unemployment rate. I would like to run a regression using economic growth as a dependent variable, inflation rate as an independent variable, and unemployment rate is an independent variable. So we'd like to know whether there is any relationship between economic growth, inflation rate and unemployment rate in this panel data analysis. So our main purpose is to run the panel data model using fixed effect model and also random effect model, and then run the Hausman test to know whether we use random effect model to present our data in the report. So this is how we design the panel data, and this data set will be given in the video description box, as well as the link of this data set also given in the video description box. Also the definition of this panel data model will be also given in the video description box. So this will help you to understand very quickly what I am talking about. Now, in panel data static model, there are two types. One is called the fixed effect, the other one is the random effect. Fixed effect usually means that these are independent of time, which means let's assume that the border of a country, okay, this will not change over time. Border of a country will remain the same even if you change thousands of years, because it is a fixed thing. Something like that is called the fixed effect, which does not change over time. Time does not make any contribution of that particular variable. Since panel data is combined with time series and cross section, so time is an important variable. So in this case, fixed effect model, the variables that does not consider time to impact on the model is called the fixed effect model. Whereas random effect effects that include random disturbance, which means this will include the time effect, which means the population growth, age of the population, something like that. In this case, in our model also, GDP, inflation rate and unemployment, all these three variables supposed to use random effect because it changes over time. So time is an important variable. So you'd like to know whether when we run our regression model, we choose fixed effect or random effect model, because if we choose fixed effect, then these variables theoretically does not bother about time. But we understand that and we know that these variables are changes over time. So theoretically, we understand this particular case, we will use random effect model. Now let's see whether our end result or Hausman test result show that our model should use random effect model. Now that you understand the fixed effect, random effect and what is the panel data model, now we go to the RStudio here, and in here first you need to upload the data. So in order to upload the data, what I have done, I have make a R in action a name of my project. You can see here R in action, name of my project, and there is a folder here. You can see R in action. This is the folder or the project folder where I already share my data, panel data sample. I posted or I put this data inside this folder. So this will make myself very easier to upload the data into RStudio. All I have to do, p data is my first object, then read.csv is my function, and then I name the data set panel data sample.csv. That's it. If I run this one, this will of course give me the data set what I need. If I go for summary of p data set, if I run this one, you will see that the data value and all the descriptive statistics are given here. So the descriptive statistics in here, you can see the summary, the country 1, country 2, and also year, economic growth, inflation rate, all the variables, their information are given as a descriptive variable. Then we have to design the panel data. Remember, in the time series and the panel data, you need to tell the R programming that whether your data set is a cross section, time series or panel. This is the first thing that you have to do. So in order to do that, I use another object called the panel data. And remember, R will work as an object oriented programming. So always start with an object, then a function, and then run your model. This is how you have to do it. And in my other videos, especially in my channel, how to run and how to work in an R programming environment, I have a serial video list. You can always go and check those videos in your own time. Now again, I use a panel data as an object, then p data.frame, I mean panel data frame. I am defining my data set as a panel data frame. So I use a panel data frame function. Then my original data set is p dash underscore data. Here is my original data. As you can see, if I just mention it in the highlighted verse, as you can see here, this is my original object. I change my color, that will easier to understand. Okay, this is my original data set. This is my frame. I mean, I am framing the data as a panel data. So I said the function is p data dot frame, and then I share p data is the original data set, and index meaning that I design the data as a country and year. So it's a panel data. It's a panel data. When I say country and year in my indexing, this is the panel data designing. So remember, my dear learners, you need to design first as a panel data. So it's very important that you need to design it accordingly and follow my steps so that you do not have to worry anything. Now I need to see whether my panel data is a balanced panel data. So what I do, pdim is the dimension of my panel data. Once I command this one, this will share. If I go back and show you what will happen if I command this one. So just press this one and run it. So you see dimension is at the underneath of the RStudio. You will see balance panel, n is equal to 5 countries, t is equal to 11, which means 11 time period, and n is the observation number of observations. 11 times 5, 55 is our number of observations. I hope it's very much clear. And one other thing you have to remember, you see there is a package called PLM. You need to install the package before you start doing anything. So what you have to do, write down install.packages PLM and then library PLM. I already have done it before I start the session. So you can see here, I can share with you the information with you. Here you see I already mentioned how I have to, this is my panel data, and then my statistical, you see. So my panel data package, the PLM package, install.packages.plm, this you have to do before you start any session. This is the package that we are using, panel data package for R programming. And then library PLM, which is I am asking this package to work in my RStudio environment. That's it. All you have to do, these two things you need to do everything that you begin before doing anything in the panel analysis. So now once I got the dimension, now we have two models. One is the fixed effect and random effect. Fixed effect model, I run the regression, simple linear regression using within model, meaning that the model will run inside without considering the random disturbance. So there is no time effect we are considering in the fixed effect model. In the second one, PLM random, this is the name of the object, PLM is the function, and data set we are using it, and you see the random effect model is our second random effect model, meaning that fixed effect random effect model. So I used model random. You see I use p dash data, meaning that this is my data set. So they are variable inflation, and this dollar sign meaning that I'm calling the variable. So whenever you write down the data set and then dollar sign, then asking the variable that you're looking for, it will come automatically. So dollar sign is calling the variable. So I call the variable inflation, I call the variable unemployment rate. My data set is panel dash data, which you can see here. Here in this case, panel data, in here I mention it, panel data, my data set, and model random. This is the end of every equations, I mean all the information that you need, and then you go and run the summary of this object. Okay, summary of the object, and then you go for the p hat test, which means Hausman test. So if I look at my information below, you will see that the informations are very much clear to everyone. It's not that difficult. You see here at the below, you can see what I have done. Panel data frame. So this is the balance panel. Then I run the fixed effect model. Here it says the fixed effect model. Okay, and this is my fixed effect model, the summary of the fixed effect model. This is my coefficient. Okay, there is a relationship between inflation rate and growth rate is a positive relationship, whereas the unemployment rate and economic growth has a negative, as expected, negative growth rate. Both the variables are statistically insignificant. For p-value is not less than 5%, so these are statistically insignificant. Okay, then I go to the random effect model. Again I summarize the random effect model, and as you can see here, same way, and then you find that in this time the inflation rate here is also positive, and unemployment rate is here negative. So there is a negative relationship between unemployment rate and economic growth, and positive relationship with inflation rate and economic growth. And in this case, in meaning that random effect model, both the variable are also insignificant, meaning that the p value are insignificant, which means less than 5%. Both the model we have done. Now what we have to do, go to the panel p head test, I mean the panel Hausman test, go with these two models that we have already run, and then run it, and this is the result of the Hausman test. Hausman test gives us the p value 0.681. This means that our null hypothesis is that we can use the random effect model. If p value is significant, then we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. Our alternative hypothesis is we can use fixed effect model. Our null hypothesis is we can use random effect model. Since p value is not significant, so we can say we are not rejecting our null hypothesis, so we can use our random effect model. And as we expected, I told you that our variables unemployment, inflation and economic growth will change over time, and therefore random effect model is appropriate here. So this is how you can run it in RStudio. Of course, download base R software and RStudio and then run everything like I said. Okay, now we move on to the R base software called now we can move on to BlueSky. In the BlueSky, you can see I already upload the data. Those who are unfamiliar with the BlueSky, please look at my other videos where I mention how to run and use BlueSky model. There are continuous videos of BlueSky. Please have a look. This is a fantastic R-based GUI. You can use it for your own purposes. So just go to the open data and you will find the panel data sample, and then I load it and the data set is already here. So all I have to do, go to the history and you see the linear regression. Once I put the linear regression dependent variable economic growth and inflation unemployment rate, these are the independent variable, then I press syntax, which means R syntax. And this is why I like the BlueSky, because you can run the R syntax and drag and drop way to run the regression just like SPSS as well as R programming in the same platform. So when I do that, the output will come like this. So you can see here that if I cross it now for now, and if we go to this particular case, you see that our output R syntax, you see R syntax is already given here. Now what I have to do is the same thing I have done in the RStudio. First I install the package PLM, which is my package for running the PLM is running for panel data model. Then I library PLM, I'm calling the package to work in my environment. Then I use panel data frame. So I index it country and year, which is I refer to the R that this is a panel data set. So p dimension panel, just like RStudio. Then naming the model R object. Then this function is PLM function. Then economic growth, inflation, unemployment rate, and then model panel data within is the fixed effect model. And then you can run the random effect model, and then you can summarize it. You see here the BlueSky will summarize it. So summarizing is already coming. When you run the linear regression model, it will summarize it. All you have to do, put the value or change the model. This is the model name. You put the model name here. This is the summary of the model, I mean the object, and then this will summarize. Just what you have to do, you just need to whenever you need to run the model or anything you do, just copy that part or highlight the part and then press run. It will automatically run at the left side of your window. So everything, whenever you run something, copy it and then run. Copy the command and then run. Okay, remember. So here as well, when we summarizing, just copy the output until summarize. Okay, and then you can just press run, and this will gives you the output just left side of your corner. And as you can see here that the same thing will come out. First we have this fixed effect model, and here you say inflation rate is 0.30, which is a positive number, and unemployment rate is negative 0.76, which is a negative relationship with economic growth, and both the values are as well here the insignificant, so meaning that less than 5%. So just like the RStudio, we can do the same thing in BlueSky statistics using the same command that I showed you in RStudio. Just copy and paste that command and you can have your own model in the BlueSky statistics. Remember the steps I told you: first, package installation, library package, then make an object, then make a data frame for panel, defining the panel data. Your data set should be panel and it should be mentioned using this definition panel data frame. And then after that you can see whether it is a balanced panel by dimension command, and then you run the regression model just like any other regression model, like using PLM package, meaning that the PLM function and economic growth is a dependent variable, inflation and unemployment is an independent variable. And just like that, you can run it in using BlueSky statistics, you can run it in RStudio, and all that way you can find whether your model will run as a random effect or fixed effect model. So you can use BlueSky statistics or you can use RStudio to run the panel static model just like that. I hope this video is very helpful to you. I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much. Bye bye.